The heart of a blood-soaked battlefield, Chung Mayung, the 13th disciple of the great Mount Hua sect, faces the aftermath of a devastating war. The once lush mountain peak is now stained red, echoing the loss and sacrifice of his fellow disciples. Despite his grievous wounds, Chung Mayung's spirit remains unbroken as he confronts the heavenly demon, the source of this chaos. The pain in his body pales compared to the anguish in his heart. As he surveys the fallen, memories of camaraderie and shared dreams flood his mind. This is not just the end of a battle, but the end of an era for Mount Hua sect. Mayung, battered and bloodied, stands before the dying heavenly demon. The demon, surrounded by the weapons of those who gave their lives to stop him, utters his final words, warning that the demons will return. With a final act of defiance, Chung Mayung ends the demon's life but finds no solace in victory. The world may remember this as a triumph, but for Chung Mayung it is a hollow one. The cost was too great, and the future of Mount Hua sect hangs in the balance. The blue sky above remains indifferent to the tragedy below. As Chung Mayung collapses, his thoughts drift to the past. He remembers the teachings of his masters, the laughter of his peers, and the dreams they all shared. Regret fills his heart. If only he had trained harder, listened more, or made different choices, perhaps things could have been different. The pain of loss is overwhelming, and he wonders if their sacrifices had any meaning. The legacy of Mount Hua seems destined to fade, and Chung Mayung's final moments are filled with sorrow and unanswered questions. Time passes and the world moves on. Chung Mayung, once the revered Plum Blossom Sword Saint, awakens in the body of a child beggar. Confusion and disbelief grip him as he realizes that a century has gone by since his death. The Mount Hua sect, once a pillar of strength, has faded into obscurity. The world he knew is gone, replaced by one where his name and deeds are all but forgotten. Yet the fire within him is not extinguished. He resolves to uncover the fate of his beloved sect. Mayung struggles to come to terms with his new reality. He is no longer the feared and respected swordsman, but a nameless beggar known as Cho Sam. The harshness of his new life is a stark contrast to his former glory. He faces ridicule and beatings from those around him, yet his indomitable spirit refuses to yield. Even as he's battered and humiliated, he clings to his identity and the memories of Mount Hua. The journey to reclaim his past has only just begun. Life among the beggars is unforgiving. Chung Mayung learns the rules of survival in the beggars' union, where only the strong or cunning endure. He is forced to adapt quickly, relying on his wits and resilience. The union is a world apart from the martial arts sects he once knew, and he must navigate its dangers while searching for any information about Mount Hua. Each day is a test of endurance, but Chung Mayung's determination never wavers. Chung Mayung is shocked to learn that 100 years have passed since the fall of the heavenly demon. The world has changed dramatically, new sects have risen, and the once mighty Mount Hua is now a forgotten name. The beggars' union, once insignificant, is now counted among the great sects. Chung Mayung's disbelief grows as he realizes how much history has left him behind. Yet his resolve to restore Mount Hua only strengthens. Determined to uncover the truth, Chung Mayung questions everyone he meets about Mount Hua. To his dismay, most people have never even heard of the sect. The few who remember speak of its collapse after the war with the heavenly demon. The realization that his beloved sect has faded into obscurity is a bitter pill to swallow. Still, Chung Mayung refuses to give up hope. He decides to see Mount Hua with his own eyes, no matter the cost. Despite his weakened body and lack of resources, Chung Mayung sets out on a journey to Mount Hua. The road is long and perilous, and his body, once honed by years of martial arts, now struggles with every step. Hunger and exhaustion threaten to overwhelm him, but his determination is unwavering. Each hardship only fuels his desire to see Mount Hua restored to its former glory. The journey is as much about reclaiming his identity as it is about saving the sect. Reflecting on his past, Chung Mayung realizes the value of a strong foundation in martial arts. He remembers how he once neglected the basics in pursuit of quick progress, a mistake that cost him dearly. Now given a second chance, he vows to rebuild his strength from the ground up. The lessons of Mount Hua's teachings resonate deeply, reminding him that true power comes from patience and perseverance. This time, he will not repeat the errors of his youth. Mayung chooses to practice the equilibrium of six, a basic yet essential technique from Mount Hua. Though often dismissed as ineffective, he knows its true value lies in purifying the body and perfecting the dantian. With meticulous attention, he begins the arduous process of rebuilding his internal strength. The journey is slow and demanding, but Chung Mayung is determined to lay the perfect foundation for his future growth. Every breath, every movement is a step toward reclaiming his power. The process of creating a new dantian is both challenging and enlightening for Chung Mayung. He channels his chi with precision, focusing on purity rather than quantity. The result is a fragile but flawless foundation, a tiny spark that holds the promise of immense power. Though physically weak, Chung Mayung knows he has taken the first crucial step toward regaining his strength. The experience fills him with a sense of hope and determination. No amount of martial arts training can stave off the pangs of hunger. Chung Mayung, once a master of endurance, finds himself at the mercy of his frail body's needs. Hunger gnaws at him relentlessly, reminding him of the harsh realities of his new life. The struggle to survive becomes his immediate concern, overshadowing even his lofty ambitions. Yet even in the face of starvation, his resolve to reach Mount Hua remains unbroken. Chung Mayung's trek to Mount Hua is a test of both body and spirit. Every step is a battle against exhaustion, pain, and despair. The once mighty swordsman is now reduced to crawling, his body barely able to keep up with his willpower. The journey is filled with moments of doubt and frustration, but Chung Mayung's determination never falters. Each hardship endured brings him closer to his goal, forging his resolve anew. After countless trials, Chung Mayung finally arrives at the foot of Mount Hua. The sight of the mountain fills him with a mix of relief and anticipation. Memories of his past life flood his mind as he gazes up at the familiar peaks. The journey has left him battered and weary, but the sight of Mount Hua rekindles his hope. He prepares himself for the final ascent, determined to see the fate of his beloved sect with his own eyes. The path up Mount Hua is treacherous and unforgiving. Chung Mayung, weakened by his journey, struggles to climb the steep slopes. The once familiar road now feels alien and perilous. Every muscle aches and his breath comes in ragged gasps, yet the thought of giving up never crosses his mind. The climb is a metaphor for his struggle to restore Mount Hua, a daunting task but not an impossible one. The summit Chung Mayang is greeted by a heartbreaking sight. The once proud gate of Mount Hua is now in ruins, its tiles scattered and pillars blackened. Spider webs and graffiti mar the entrance, a stark reminder of the sect's decline. The absence of the signboard, once a symbol of Mount Hua's legacy, is a painful blow. Chung Mayang's hope wavers as he confronts the reality of his sect's downfall. Devastation of Mount Hua is undeniable. Chung Mayang is forced to accept that the sect he fought so hard to protect has been reduced to a shadow of its former self. The weight of responsibility and regret presses down on him, yet even in the face of despair he refuses to abandon hope. The legacy of Mount Hua lives on in him, and he vows to do whatever it takes to restore its honor. Just as despair threatens to overwhelm him, Chung Mayang hears a voice. A man in a black uniform appears, offering him shelter for the night. The kindness of this stranger is a small but significant comfort. Chung Mayang realizes that, despite the sect's decline, its spirit endures in those who remain. The journey is far from over, and hope begins to flicker once more in his heart. Chung Mayang is welcomed by Am, a member of the current Mount Hua sect. Their conversation is cautious but respectful. Am's kindness and hospitality remind Chung Mayang of the values that once defined Mount Hua. Though the sect is a shadow of its former self, the legacy of its teachings endures. Chung Mayang introduces himself, determined to play a role in the sect's revival. Walking through the halls of Mount Hua, Chung Mayang is flooded with memories. The cracked floors and missing blue stones are stark reminders of the passage of time. He recalls the days of rigorous training, the camaraderie of his fellow disciples, and the pride he once felt. The contrast between past and present is painful, but it also strengthens his resolve to restore what has been lost. Chung Mayang reflects on the responsibilities of leadership. He realizes that the decline of Mount Hua was not solely the fault of those who survived. The loss of elders and experienced disciples left the sect vulnerable. Rather than blaming the current members, he feels a sense of responsibility to guide and support them. His journey is not just about reclaiming his own legacy, but about uplifting those who remain. Despite the overwhelming odds, Chung Mayang sees an opportunity for renewal. The ruins of Mount Hua are not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter. With his knowledge and experience, he believes he can help rebuild the sect from the ground up. The journey ahead will be long and difficult, but Chung Mayang is ready to face whatever challenges come his way. True strength of Mount Hua lies not in its buildings or reputation, but in the spirit of its people. Chung Mayang is reminded that as long as there are those who uphold its teachings, the sect will never truly die. He resolves to pass on his knowledge and inspire a new generation of disciples. The legacy of Mount Hua will live on through their actions and dedication. Chung Mayang begins to share his knowledge with the remaining members of Mount Hua. He emphasizes the importance of mastering the basics, drawing from his own experiences and regrets. The disciples are skeptical at first, but his passion and expertise gradually win them over. Slowly, the seeds of revival are planted and hope begins to take root once more. Road to revival is fraught with doubt and resistance. Many question Chung Mayang's methods and motives, unsure if the sect can ever regain its former glory. Yet his unwavering determination and deep understanding of martial arts gradually earn their trust. Through patience and persistence, he begins to unite the fractured sect, instilling a sense of purpose and pride. Under Chung Mayang's guidance, the disciples of Mount Hua embark on a rigorous training regimen. The focus is on rebuilding their foundations both physically and mentally. The process is grueling, but the disciples begin to see progress. Bonds of camaraderie are forged and a renewed sense of hope spreads through the sect. The journey of revival has truly begun. Chung Mayang encourages the disciples to reconnect with the traditions and values of Mount Hua. He shares stories of the sect's glorious past, inspiring them to take pride in their heritage. The disciples begin to understand that true strength comes from honoring their roots while striving for improvement. The revival of Mount Hua is as much about restoring its spirit as it is about rebuilding its reputation. As Mount Hua begins to recover, new challenges arise. Rival sects and external threats test the resolve of its members. Chung Mayang's leadership is put to the test as he navigates these obstacles. Through strategy and skill, he guides the sect through adversity, proving that Mount Hua's spirit is unbreakable. Each victory, no matter how small, brings them closer to their goal. Chung Mayang's journey is a testament to the power of persistence. Despite countless setbacks and hardships, he never loses sight of his goal. His unwavering determination inspires those around him, transforming doubt into belief. The revival of Mount Hua is not just a personal quest, but a collective effort fueled by resilience and hope. With each passing day, Mount Hua grows stronger. The disciples, once disheartened, now train with renewed vigor. Repairs to the sect's buildings begin, symbolizing the restoration of its legacy. Chung Mayang's vision for the future takes shape, and the dream of a revived Mount Hua becomes increasingly tangible. The sect's reputation slowly begins to recover. As spring arrives, plum blossoms begin to bloom once more on Mount Hua. The site is a powerful symbol of renewal and hope. For Chung Mayang and the disciples, it marks the beginning of a new era. The hardships of the past are not forgotten, but they serve as a foundation for future growth. The revival of Mount Hua is well underway. Disciples of Mount Hua, inspired by Chung Mayang's example, begin to embody the values of their sect. They train diligently, support one another, and strive to uphold the legacy of their predecessors. The bonds of brotherhood grow stronger, and a sense of unity pervades the sect. The future of Mount Hua rests in their hands and they are determined not to let it slip away. Chung Myung often reflects on the mistakes and lessons of his previous life. He shares these insights with the disciples, helping them avoid the pitfalls that once plagued Mount Hua. The wisdom gained from experience becomes a guiding light, steering the sect toward a brighter future. The past is not a burden but a source of strength and guidance. The journey to restore Mount Hua is far from over. New challenges and opportunities await and the path forward is uncertain. Yet, with Chung Myung's leadership and the disciples' dedication, the sect is poised for greatness. The story of Mount Hua is one of resilience, hope, and the unbreakable spirit of those who refuse to give up. Mount Hua's revival is not just about reclaiming lost glory but about forging a new legacy. The disciples, guided by Chung Myung, strive to create a sect that honors the past while embracing the future. Their journey is a testament to the enduring power of tradition, innovation, and unity. The story of Mount Hua continues, stronger than ever. Chung Myung makes a solemn vow to restore Mount Hua to its rightful place among the great sects. His promise is not just to the disciples but to the memory of those who sacrificed everything. The journey ahead will be long and arduous, but his resolve is unshakable. The legacy of the plum blossom sword saint lives on in every action he takes. Through his actions and teachings, Chung Myung inspires a new generation of martial artists. His story becomes a beacon of hope for those who face adversity. The disciples look to him not just as a leader but as a symbol of what is possible through perseverance and dedication. The future of Mount Hua shines brighter with each passing day. Chung Myung teaches that true strength is not measured by power alone, but by the ability to endure, adapt, and uplift others. The disciples learn that the greatest victories are those won through unity and compassion. The revival of Mount Hua is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Mount Hua, once on the brink of extinction, is reborn through the efforts of Chung Myung and his disciples. The sect's halls echo with the sounds of training and laughter, a stark contrast to the silence of its decline. The journey is far from over, but the foundation has been laid for a new era of greatness. The story of Mount Hua is one of hope, resilience, and the power of second chances. Chung Myung never forgets the sacrifices of those who came before him. He honors their memory by striving to build a better future for Mount Hua. The disciples are taught to respect the past while embracing the challenges of the present. The legacy of the fallen lives on in every act of courage and kindness. The revival of Mount Hua is an ongoing journey. Each day brings new challenges and opportunities for growth. Chung Myung and his disciples remain steadfast in their commitment to the sect's ideals. Their story is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, hope and determination can lead to greatness. As Mount Hua rises from the ashes, a new legend begins to take shape. The story of Chung Myung and his disciples inspires others across the land. The sect's revival becomes a symbol of resilience and the enduring power of the human spirit. The journey is far from over, but the future is filled with promise. The story of Mount Hua is a cycle of rise, fall, and renewal. Each generation faces its own challenges, but the spirit of the sect endures. Chung Myung's journey is a testament to the power of starting anew, learning from the past, and striving for a better future. The plum blossoms may fall, but they always bloom again with the coming of spring. In the end, it is Chung Myung's unbreakable will that defines the revival of Mount Hua. His journey from despair to hope, from ruin to renewal, is a powerful reminder that greatness is forged through adversity. The legacy of the plum blossom sword saint lives on, inspiring generations to come. Mount Hua stands once more a beacon of strength and resilience.